What if Bigfoot is half human? In October 2024, a man named Charles Stuart, known in Bigfoot hunting circles by the nickname Snake, claims he found something in the Adirondack Mountains of upstate New York, near the town of Old Forge. The body, he says, was lying in a bed of poison ivy. It was roughly 8 feet tall. It weighed close to 300 pounds. Stuart and his friends dragged the body out of the woods. A taxidermist preserved it. Stuart named the specimen Dack, short for Adirondack. He took the body to last year's Great New York State Fair in Syracuse. Roughly 60,000 people came to see it. A Saturday morning news show in Detroit invited him on. He went back on the road this summer with new claims. The story would have ended there, the kind of circus you see at state fairs and roadside attractions, if it weren't for what Stuart said in July 2026. He claimed the body had been DNA tested. The results, he added, had come back. Cornell, he insisted, had told him what the body was. Stuart's description of the specimen was consistent and detailed. 8 feet tall, roughly 300 pounds, coarse, matted hair, long arms, a face that was broader than a human skull. Internal organs were salvaged during the preservation process, according to Stuart, and the taxidermist worked on the body for months. The finished mount looked like a creature that had walked out of a forest and laid down. Stuart set it up at the 2025 Great New York State Fair in Syracuse, New York. 60,000 people filed past it during the run of the fair. Some posed for photos. Others asked questions. Many walked away shaking their heads. The state fair was Stuart's proof of concept. Lines formed. Visitors came from miles away. Cameras clicked. The state fair gave him the audience he needed to take the next step. After the fair, the DNA was tested. The DNA sample was submitted to Cornell University's Veterinary DNA Lab in Ithaca, New York, according to Stuart. The lab is real. The lab is part of the College of Veterinary Medicine. It is a respected facility that handles animal DNA testing for wildlife, livestock, and exotic species. The results came back in 2026. The lab told Stuart the specimen was 58.5% Neanderthal and 41.5% human. The analysis, he said, indicated the ancient DNA likely came from a highly distinct familial line that avoided the genetic bottlenecks that modern humans experienced after the Ice Age. A combination of European and Asian Neanderthal DNA appeared alongside some Native American ancestry, according to the report Stuart described. The results, if accurate, would be the first confirmed DNA profile of a Bigfoot ever recorded. They would also rewrite the standard model of what Bigfoot is. A Bigfoot that is 58% Neanderthal is not an ape. A Bigfoot that is 58% Neanderthal is a human relative. A Jane Goodall quote has become central to Stuart's argument. The quote, attributed to the late primatologist, reads, "If Bigfoot was out there, it would be a remnant Neanderthal." Goodall made the statement in 2002 in an interview with a British television crew. She was asked whether she believed in Bigfoot. She said she was open to the possibility. She added that the most likely candidate, given the size and the description, would be a remnant Neanderthal population. Stuart claims his DNA results match Goodall's hypothesis almost exactly. 58,5% Neanderthal, 41,5% human. A remnant population that survived the genetic bottleneck that killed off the rest of the Neanderthals. The body was in its late teens or early 20s at the time of death, Stuart said. The specimen was named Dack. The body will be displayed again at the 2026 New York State Fair, where visitors can see the specimen and the DNA report side by side. Anyone who doubts the body, Stuart insists, is welcome to come and see it in person. The story broke wide on the 5th of July 2026, when the New York Post published its first piece on the DNA results. Within 48 hours, the story had been picked up by Newsmax TV, Fox News Outkick, iHeart's Coast to Coast AM, Hudson Valley Country, and dozens of regional outlets. Rob Finerty hosted Stuart on his Newsmax show Saturday Agenda on the 11th of July 2026. The interview was the most watched segment on the network that weekend. Stuart walked Finerty through the DNA results, the Adirondack find, and the upcoming 2026 NY State Fair display. A Japanese documentary crew had filmed the body for an upcoming piece, Stuart added during the interview. Representatives of the 6 nations of the Grand River had examined the body and the DNA report, he continued. The 6 nations were considering making a formal statement, he said. Within a week of the Newsmax segment, the story had been viewed more than 10 million times across all platforms. The story was no longer a state fair sideshow. The story was a national news event. Not everyone is convinced. One veteran Bigfoot researcher and television personality called the body a cheesy, fake dead Bigfoot, comparing it to Tom Biscardi's famous 2008 fake Bigfoot reveal. Other skeptics raised different objections. The DNA results have not been peer-reviewed. Cornell University has not publicly confirmed the test. The lab could have been provided a contaminated sample. 58.5%. Neanderthal is an unusual result for any specimen. Neanderthal DNA in modern humans is typically 1 to 4%, not 58%. A true Neanderthal hybrid would be 50% Neanderthal, not 58.5%. The result is consistent with a human sample that has been contaminated or mislabeled. The skeptics were not unreasonable. The story had all the marks of a hoax that had been repeated many times before. What was new, however, was the DNA result itself. What was different this time was the name of the lab. And what was unprecedented, perhaps, was the national press coverage. Skeptics had a case. Believers had a body on display. Stuart lives in Whitehall, New York, in Washington County, near the Vermont border. The find was near Old Forge in Herkimer County, in the central Adirondacks. Old Forge is a tourist town on the edge of the Adirondack Park. The town is no stranger to Bigfoot stories. The Adirondack Bigfoot community has been active for decades, with a small but loyal following of researchers, hunters, and true believers. Stuart plans to display Dack at the 2026 Great New York State Fair, which runs from late August through early September. The display will include the body, the DNA report, photos from the Adirondack find site, and statements from the Japanese documentary crew and the 6 nations. Stuart wants as many people to see the body as possible. He says he has nothing to hide. Scientists, journalists, and skeptics are invited to come and examine the body. The next 30 days will determine whether the body is real, whether the DNA results hold up, and whether Bigfoot has finally been found. Charles Stuart claims an 8-foot, 300-pound body was found in the Adirondack Mountains. The body was DNA tested at Cornell, his account runs, and came back 58.5%. Neanderthal, 41.5% human.